2 more Adepts in the back. You get a Nexus down as well right now. So he's going to be playing 3-gate Adept. He's building a couple of extra drones right now. I don't actually think Serral's going to have too much in position. Queens are not ready for this either. There's 3 right here. I think one of these is probably going to fall if Neeb decides to attack him.
Yeah, he could have attacked the Queen because obviously running over here, I mean, I guess if you're not going to shade, then you can commit here. The Evo Chamber Wall is going to go down.
No
That's a kill. So that's actually a little bit expensive as well. Going to shade through again now. And meanwhile, the Oracle's setting up a stasis ward as well. The Queens just do deny it. Wow.
Sick defense out of Serral.
Yeah.
He had nothing ready.
Yeah.
It double Evo, well, that was insane. What a beautiful hold. Okay, he's going to stop at 76 for now. And build at least a couple of rounds of units. Oh, he saw the double forge. I think he could have gotten slightly higher then.
Maybe. Yeah.
He just wanted some links on the map maybe to spot some stuff, maybe set up a run by. Kind of do like that as well, honestly. Don't mind it too much. So this is a switch up in style here for Neeb at least. So he's going into a lower gas style with a lot of gateway units well upgraded. We've seen Showtime play this a lot this weekend.
He probably once again want to get Adrenaline Glands pretty fast. So he can fight against this army. And like in the first game he got Greater Spire, but Greater Spire is good when it's like a very gas heavy army. But against this kind of army you just need Adrenaline Glands and that's it basically.
Yeah, it's really funny how that works, and this is something that we've seen for the first time in the past few months, is where Zergs literally will just get high for Adrenal. Such a powerful upgrade in these kind of side skirmishes with pure Zealot, 2 Stalkers against a bunch of Links. Don't think this is a fight that Serral wants to take, unless the Roach flank, oh my god. Didn't even see that come. Beautiful stuff.
No charge yet.
Yeah, charge moments away as well. These Zealots a little bit too far forward still. They're going to get caught, and now Serral will have a leap onto this base on the top side. And probes are plenty on this base as well. So lots of targets here for Serral, who can also keep on fighting the Stalkers, leave the Lings to get the probe count. A warp in from Neeb, but there's Banelings to still clean up these Zealots. So, I mean, Serral's still going to stick around here, but he's going to end up losing every single Roach.
Yeah, I wouldn't have minded if the Banelings would have gone for the probes and the Roaches just pull back there. Often if you're fighting Roaches against Stalkers, it ends up very poor for the Roaches. This is a big run by. The Adepts weren't defending, instead went for a couple of drone kills. This is working really well for Neeb once again, as it felt like Serral was finally doing something right. And Neeb says, look at this, I got a counterattack, Adepts in 2 bases, Zealots in 3 bases as well. And all of a sudden Serral is down 20 supply. Yeah, it feels like right now you're going to give your opponent a little bit of time to set back up while you're attacking into your Archon army and maybe even Storm. This is a run by with some potential, as these bad boys have +2. Stasis is going to trigger though.
Massive save against those Banelings.
A lot of Roaches again. They're in a bit of a dangerous position. We see this flank coming in from the left side. Not sure if that's a flank that can actually hold their ground though. Roaches are going to push through. Serral cannot afford to lose every Roach here. Luckily there's Creep nearby. And we'll get a somewhat of a safe retreat. These Banelings might still get some kills on the Zealots, but there's no probes to take out. Oh, Serral's actually going to continue fighting. These Banelings, if they manage to get into this mineral line, would be huge.
Oh no!
One?
Oh, no. Only one probe.
It's not a fight Serral can take.
Why are we fighting?
He can't. He absolutely cannot do that.
He's going to get pushed back. I mean, the only saving grace here is maybe a little bit of creep spread being so far forward that the Roach is going to start to get away quickly.
Neeb can push, no?
Yeah.
Send it. Gonna add a sentry. There's a lot of money in the bank right now. Neeb's getting his +3 going, 6 base on the way as well. We see Hydras being built. Lurker then is done already, and Seismic Spines is on the way. Losing these Roaches was really painful there once again. A little bit too aggressive every single time with these Roaches.
Just lose out on one of the Oracles here, so a little unfortunate, unnecessary, but not the end of the world. Still got 2 more to keep revelating with. The Observer there to help push back some of this creep spread, which was one of the few saving graces Serral had in that fight, that he got the creep so soon after the fight was going bad for him.
Yeah, it really was. Aggressive blink forward here out of Neeb. Serral wants to pull back. Hydras are dying, which means there will not be Lurkers. Lurkers, even without upgrades here, would be really nice defensively. Right now, well, there's no reinforcements here for Neeb. No Prism, which helps. Zealots need to make their way across the map, but Serral is struggling to hold this already, even without reinforcements.
Yep. These Stalkers are doing very, very well. I mean, a few Lings streaming in at least will be doing very well. This is where having the Zealots already would have been amazing. That is going to give Serral the time to get a couple of Lurkers up. But if Neeb could just spend all of his money, right? Like, he's got so much cash. There is a big Stalker warp in, but he still has a ton of gas for maybe a High Templar warp in later. Yeah, Neeb's going to play a little afraid of that Lurker. And they are annoying right now, and this is where detection will become important. And this is where having the multiple Oracles would have been nice still.
Yeah. Oh, this army might actually get caught here by these Lings. That is somewhat of a big deal. More Stalkers coming in to try and rescue them, but the Lings will stay alive. 2 Oracles coming in to help out. Supply evens out. Now, that is usually good for the Protoss player. But maybe Serral manages to stabilize on, what is it, the 6 bases that he's currently on? Yeah, Neeb's left side army can't really easily move down that ramp, a little bit too clumped up. Serral's going to rotate further towards the right side. Lynx want to cancel that 6 base again. I think this Lurker army should most likely retreat home at this phase of the game. What's happening there on the left side with that run by? What is that? Is that Banes? Oh, that's potential.
Yeah, we're going to blow out a couple of Zards. Neeb sees it though, so he is going to start pulling the probes away, but all you need is a couple of these Banes to connect. We're going to warp in more Zards. The probes have to keep on running. And the Banelands hit the Zard.
Stops controlling them. Yeah. That could have been scary still, honestly. He sends them into the mineral line. It's fine. Serral's mining a bit more, and that's mainly because these probes have been running for the past 45 seconds. It is nice to see, though, seeing triple blue arrows for what feels like the first time in this entire game. At least in a while, like 4 or 5 minutes.
And Neeb starting transition to carriers.
Thoughts?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's kind of needed against Lurkers, because if you don't transition, then at some point it can be Broodlord and Lurker. And it's extremely scary.
Yeah.
Nice storms.
Definitely feel that.
I don't think it's actually like needed to switch against Lurkers, but you need to have this check just in case if there is Broodlord.
Yeah.
Well, this army of Serral wants to keep pushing up the left-hand side. We do see Neeb splitting his army, so he's got a push coming down the right. He's got storms there. He's not going to go too far forward, but he is going to be set up for this Ling Bane attack if that's what Serral wants to commit to. But obviously the benefit of the Lings is they should be able to run away quickly. They do eat half a storm, but that's okay.
I think you want to swap the armies right now. Like the Lurker army to the right and the Ling Bane, or just everything together to one side. Yeah, swapping them is the correct call here. Very little Immortals on the right side. Neeb noticed it now with his Revelation and should also send over some Immortals towards the right side in order to stop these Lurkers. Because that's not an army that deals well with Lurkers at all.
No.
You can zone a little bit with the Storms, force them to burrow beforehand, but that's really all there is. Zealot's gonna get taken out once again. Serral's getting a bit of a bank. Is getting a Greater Spire like you were talking about. Do you really like Carriers more over Tempest in this case? I'd almost say that. Getting 5-6 Tempest here. The problem is if you have 85 probes, you can't do it, right?
Yeah,
you need like 70 maybe? 70 workers?
Yeah, I honestly think Neeb can give out some.
Yeah, and honestly, in this scenario, I don't really see Serral lose a lot. This is like where he's fully set up with Broodlord Infestor. It takes a long time, and it will take us back 5-6 months back into time where we see these long, drawn-out games. But Serral is so ridiculously good at this, it's insane.
But if someone can win it,
that's Neeb. Yeah. This is not the move though.
Yeah, fighting Broodlords that you're never gonna actually get to, not ideal. Helps by his stasis, obviously just faster to get away. He is moving the army bottom left, you got to cancel on the base, and just looking, but it's such a dangerous game to be playing, right, with that army there. You got to be so careful you don't get caught out.
He doesn't have Neural yet, right? No, just Pathogen first, then Neural probably. Yeah. The moment you get Neural and you still have such a huge ground army, it can often be very dangerous because the ground army moves so far and you lose all your Archons to the Neurals. That's often the main target. Whenever people think of Neural, they often think of like, oh, Neural in Carriers is very good. But if you Neural 5 Archons, all of a sudden Interceptors die pretty fast, and it's also something that the TOS needs to take care of. I mean, it's really expensive gas-wise as well. So for these late-game trades, it's fantastic if you can take out a lot of Archons.
And how much Carriers does Neeb have right now? Because it feels like his army is very, very bad right now. He has like a lot of Zealots, a lot of Stalkers. He needs to give up some of his units. Trade them somehow.
Yeah, that's kind of the issue though. No, if you're playing against Lurker Brood, there's still a couple of Lurkers around, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 10. That's actually more than I thought there would be. I thought it might be like 4 or 5, but it's really difficult to trade away gateway units into a Lurker Brood army. So if we take a look at the units lost tab right now, it will probably look a little bit favored here for Neeb, but Neeb still has a lot of money in his army that he needs to get rid of, and he needs to find a good way to get rid of it. And that is going to be a very tricky task.
For Tempest, I really like it. I think.
Yep. He already has a couple too, right? I think he built
Why do you like it?
Because it's like he has, even with ground units, you can make them work, you know, but with carriers you actually need like a big amount.
Nice little yoink of an Oracle. We do hit a Storm, but that's not too influential here. Running away from those Broodlords is, just waiting on the Tempest to come online and start chipping away at things.
And what's the specific purpose of the Tempest in these scenarios? You just want to focus Broodlords or Vipers, or even just for Spore Walls?
Yeah, I mean, anything you can get, basically. It's always a good trade.
Okay. I like that. Big fan of adding a couple of Oracles as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just an absolute must. Here, in this type of scenario, if you have a wall, it is super sick.
Oh, Mothership's going to recall the units onto this army so we can try and get a little bit of a flanking, get some storms off. And that's going to be a really nice trade for Neeb here, who is going to chase down. And that was, what, 25 supply Serral that dropped off there? So great little move from Neeb.
The first time I've seen a chasing Mothership as well.
I know.
It's a scary sight. I can only imagine as the Lurker running away. You see the, the blue stuff coming around the Mothership. You know what's happening.
No, it's in the same place as before.
Yeah, he's maxed out. Well, not anymore. Can start the Tempest immediately. He's actually paying attention to it. Mothership, that's minus 400, 400. Is it?
No, no way.
No way.
No.
Stays alive. God, what? Oh, never mind.
I was almost so smart.
Knight is also finished up, but there's actually nothing there. A couple of Zealots taking out some drones. This is somewhat inconsequential. Don't think Zealot runways this late in the game really tend to do very much, unless you take out major tech structures, but doubt that's going to happen. DTs did get warped in, a couple of changelings get built as well, as the Tempest go follow that Overseer, at least temporarily. Is that Flux Veins on the way?
Yeah.
Neeb is making so much Tempest, it's going to be like 10, maybe? 9?
Yeah. It's a super high Tempest count, because he's already got a good chunk in this army at this stage, still 4 in production.
But if Serral plays it very slow and wants to play for that, it is completely possible that it comes down to these 2 mining bases. Trades might be even. Ooh, this is a nice little engagement here for Neeb to start with. Fungal's going to hit in a big way though. Oracle's not going to get taken out.
Yeah, if you had the follow-up Fungal on those Templar, that could have been deadly. Those Vipers are super low HP as well, so they have to be careful. Maybe grab a Transfuse before they come back in and get feedback again. Don't want to have to replace those every single time, of course, as Neeb getting quite adventurous here, pushing forward a little bit. Just trying if there's anything for him to do. And so I'll just back around that right side. Some Broods, some more Ultras, finishing up some final upgrades.
I love that composition, like the 3-4 Lurkers, the Ultras, the Lynx, mix like 5 Banes in there. You have an army that is so difficult to deal with as a Protoss player. Like Templar don't really cut it because there's Lurkers and Ultras. Cannons don't do a great job either. Like what do you need like a massive army to actually deal with that as well. Like it's a serious threat. This is a huge Fungal here. Not sure if there's enough follow-up damage though for Serral. It's gonna pick off a couple of Tempest. Ultras also chasing these Templar on the left side, but will not quite get it.
Oh my goodness, that was kind of huge. We're actually going to add some Void Rays in now as well because he's realizing that corrupt account is getting quite high and quite scary. So really just thoroughly transition into a mostly air army. He's still got this Archon Immortal on the right side, but the Broodlords there would shut that down. At this point, they're just looking to see if they can bust something down, but yeah, if they get caught, that's not ideal. We are going to get the bottom left base though, and that's nice, and killing these drones as well. Just take some of that mining away from Serral, stop him from having access to this money for now. Let's stop.
Oh.
That's a problem for the moment, isn't it? Recall?
That's not the army you want to recall, yeah.
That's not what you need there, right?
Okay, I didn't recall. I guess he recalled to the Mothership, maybe?
Yeah, with everything to push?
Yeah. That I kind of do like. Could definitely neural some Archons here.
Yep. Oh, the Fungals again going to be absolutely huge, as we do see everything still Fungal. The Ultras getting forward here as well, but Serral's the one who comes out worse on supply. And remember, Neeb's bank is gigantic at the moment, and the Void Rays showed up to push the Broods back.
Yeah, it felt like these Fungals were good 2 times, but just not enough like follow-up damage output here for Serral. I also feel like some of these Archons could have been neural a bit faster, and at least that initial fight, where they were kind of exposed, at least initially.
There is only 1 Templar in Neeb's army. This is kind of scary.
Yeah.
I feel like if Serral attacks this base now, he can break it very easily.
Well, he's going to come along. He's got the Broodlords to support it, and we are going to try and get there from Neeb. It's going to be, like you said, just a little bit awkward to deal with, but it seems like Serral's a little bit too afraid to commit too much further. The Tempest are kind of in range of those Broods, and those Broods don't currently have protection. Corruptors are just a little further back. Don't lose one.
Serral managed to secure one of the right side bases, but because he lost the bottom left side base, which still has a lot of minerals as well, that's an okay trade for Neeb to take, I think. As long as Neeb denies one of those 2 bases, he's going to be just fine. Because eventually, I do believe that he's going to just trade slightly more efficiently, unless he gets caught off guard on creep or something like that. Yeah, he's up 5-6k right now.
And the top base of Neeb is already almost mined out, right?
Yeah, that's huge.
Right.
Yeah, because once that's mined out, you don't have to protect that side much more, right? So you can focus on protecting the left, mine your own extra base, and then obviously be very happy with that.
This is a defensive force that is really cool when you do this type of stuff, but then usually people like Serral will figure it out, and you get the Corruptor Viper squad punishing that. I love how he's been using the recall though for this type of push. This looks really scary. Ultra Cavern most likely is going to fall. We see 4 more Corruptors on the way. Hive is going to get taken out. We see the lair already starting as well.
Infestation Pit to slow it down even further. That denies any further Vipers being produced. Oh, we do have the Corruptors giving chase to the Void Rays though. And the Voids want to get out of there. Now they will turn a little abducting action going on. The Tempest supporting, and honestly, not that bad for Neeb. At least getting a few kills out of this. And he's got Storms now as well. The Corruptors need to get out of there.
Yeah, some mismovement there in the end by Serral. Takes a bunch of damage on Corruptors. These Ultras are trying to take out this base. This is an important base for Neeb though. He cannot afford to lose this base. He really can't.
Yeah, he's going to get here, but probably too late to save it, which means there has to be a rebuild, and that is an expensive rebuild, because that is basically the majority of his income right now. Void Ray is left behind too, so we're going to get some free pickings.
What would your army look like right now, Skillis, if you were to craft the perfect Protoss army, and how close is it to what Neeb currently has?
I think it is very close. I would have a little bit less... I would like to have more carriers, honestly, but I don't know.
Like 5?
Yeah. Maybe like less Stalkers, less these.
Yeah, you get rid of any gateway unit that still exists that isn't a High Templar, basically.
I mean, a couple of Archons are decent, no? Against like Lurkers.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's...
I feel like there's such an easy target for the Infestor at this point with the Neural. Like, how far back do you hold them when you start fighting? I guess you just hold them in the back in case the Corruptors fly over?
Yeah, you don't really fight, right? You just stay on the batteries and like, Archons are good.
And maybe you do. I was running like an idiot. That's why I lose all my late games as well. That's why I asked you the question. These are some good trades here for Neeb once again. It's small, but that's really the way that he's going to be winning this game.
This is obviously any moment really scary because armies kind of get close to each other. The Void Rays are moving back up top to defend, but the Corruptors, I believe, are lurking nearby to try and help with the Void Rays, knowing that that's going to be the defense. So these Voids have to be very careful, because that's exactly what Serral wants. He wants to be able to grab a bunch of kills here. They do activate Prismatic, though, and that is going to be a few kills for them. We'll clean out this single Lurker on the ground, and Neeb handles this pretty well.
Yeah, the problem is that if he moves this army here, is that there's potential for like a Ling, Baneling, Ultra Force to take out the base. And this is kind of what Skillis was talking about, is the moment you need to split like this, it becomes kind of like a mind game of where the Protoss army is and where the Zerg harassment force and where the Zerg main army is. And it's really, really tricky. And it's all about vision, it's all about making the correct guesses here. And we see Neeb trying to push forward with batteries. I think it's going to be really difficult for Neeb as well to take a good fight without batteries. And that means he's going to need to cover the entire map in batteries. If he does that, he's going to leave bases vulnerable. He's going to leave his production vulnerable. And if you're out of position for a second, Broodlord sweep in and bam. Just like that, you lose your batteries. You can start all over again. It's a very long and slow process, which is also very frustrating for both sides often. Yeah. The moment the Ultras and the Lurkers disappear, you have kind of this anti-run-by squad. That doesn't really work as well against Broodlings.
Yeah. Because, and it for some reason actually feels kind of even now. But like the question is only like the left bottom base.
Yeah. The funny thing is that there's a lot of supply, like you say, for Neeb that actually isn't fighting in these fights because they're just going to be stuck behind Broodlings. This Broodlord count is insane. Like what is it? 12, 13. 2 Tempest get picked up for free. Yeah, 13 Broodlords. That's a beautiful number here as well. I almost feel like if the creep continues on, you can just kind of sit on that on top of that ramp, and then you can deny the bottom base as well. I think Serral is being almost a bit too patient. Ooh, that's bad.
Oh, everything getting caught in a fungal. Refungal as well, because the Infestors, there's nothing to stop them, so they can just continue to refungal, and Neeb losing a lot here now. Fungals on his air army as well. He does get a few storms off the Tempest, helping from afar, and he doesn't get away, but there's a parasitic bomb still in the middle of it all. Oh, a lot of damage taken there. Super Battery to try and heal those shields back up, but a lot of hull damage taken as well in those units.
Yeah. Losing those initial 4 Infestors looked really bad there for a second. I really thought that Neeb could pick up more, but Serral was so quick. Like, insane reflexes there out of him.
It's a lot of Lings coming in and just going to surround these cannons. Going to force a warp in once again to try and deal with this. Could have maybe had a pile on there, but All good, just even force on just Zealots, right, is something you don't really want to have.
Yeah, I think that's a brilliant call as well out of you. It's just the Zealots here, it's not just the money is annoying, but the fact that now you almost want to kill them. It's like, I don't want to have 14 supply of Zealots in this army. Like, every little bit matters. Like Skilla said, you much rather have like 3 extra carriers here rather than these useless Zealots. Like, what are you going to do? Like, harass an extractor on the 6th base that has been mined out for 5 minutes? It's like, yeah, okay, good luck, buddy. Like, there's still 32 in there. And these are empty as well.
Neeb is starting to lose production, and his army is very out of position. Also, he needs to protect the bottom base, because like he knows that there is a big link force. He sees it with Observer, so and this base is going.
Bad. This base is maybe not gone. There's a few Archons coming in, but Lings are just going to be so quick at killing it, and they will happily give a few of their numbers up. I'm kind of surprised he pulled away after going through the shields already.
I kind of like it. I don't think there's any reason to take out the Nexus quickly. Like, you can also do it with the Broodlords, and it probably costs less. I'm not entirely sure if you want to engage up this ramp right now if you're Serral, because the army is completely in position. You don't have any vision in there.
I feel like you can only engage if you have like ultras, so they can kill the High Templars on the bottom.
Yeah.
Fungal, gonna re-fungal as
Good
well.
fungals.
That High Templar force getting caught in the fungals. He has the Mothership as well. It's gonna get abducted in, so there goes the 400. You drop a time over the Void's chase, but there's just nothing to really chase with.
That's a good fight.
Tempest as well. Templar's just not far enough forward to zone with the Storms. Now adding some Queens, because at this point Serral's quite mineral heavy as well, right? So you want to just do what you can with minerals before you're kind of left with only minerals at the very end.
Yeah. Yeah, losing that Mothership basically means that any aggressive move out of Neeb for the next 2 minutes is not going to be possible. This gives Serral a lot of confidence to take that bottom left side base. Ooh, these drones being stopped is a big deal. Also allows these Void Rays most likely to take it out. And yeah, Serral's going to take out one base. I think Neeb is going to take out one base at the same time as well. We'll have to wait and see what these Lings are going to be doing after they take out the Zealots. Like, maybe they go for the final mining base.
Oh, ground army?
Yeah, these few units going down for free. Not ideal. Serral's going to drop to 17 drones, but it's really only looking for some gas mining at this point.
After killing this base, Serral will probably try to rotate on top to pressure the production, and at the same time his Link army gonna move on the bottom. And actually it's the opposite now.
Yeah,
try killing
production. I love that, yeah.
Yeah, this is very smart, because the Link army is way faster, so he can just get it.
Yeah. If creep ever comes up that ramp there in the middle base, and you get spores down there, you could try and start mining as well, and at that point it's so difficult to hold and your production and the base. It's technically impossible. These fights, if you have a Mothership, are so much easier for the toss as well, because you feel way safer. There always needs to be an Overseer there. You're always aware whether there's an Overseer there or not. This is a very aggressive move without creep, without spores. It's gonna get a couple of shots in.
There's no money for Serral, so he have to make a move. This base is very important.
Yeah, if he goes to off with a decent fungal, we are going to have the High Templar not able to do much. Massive fungals, parasitic bombs as well. Neeb is going to get at least away from the further fungals, but being zoned by Broodlords as well, the High Templar just cannot get in range.
No batteries here whatsoever. Broodlords already took care of the static. Links on the floor as well, trying to help out, taking out some probes. Oh, this is a really tight fight. Once again, the Mothership is going to get abducted. Still have a couple of fungals remaining. Do the Vipers have energy left? I do not think so. And thus Serral needs to at least temporarily go back home, get a bit of energy on there, because fighting without any type of parasitic bomb often is impossible. This is great. This is so good for Serral. He needed it, like you said, and he's getting it. He still has some mineral patches on that right side, which he can mine from. There's one mineral patch over here. Right now, Serral's actually going to be out-mining his opponent for at least a little bit. 4 more Tempest on the way. I feel like that the focus on Tempest has been a little bit too heavy in the later stage of the game. For the past, I want to say 7-8 minutes, it has been clear that moving across the map with a battery force wasn't possible anymore. And in that case, look, I love Tempest as much as any other Protoss player, but I think this is slightly too much.
Yeah, definitely. I would like to see more carriers. This kind of
How many Tempests is it overall?
It's like 16, no?
On our way to 25, man. Fungal goes
Proving
down.
me wrong.
Refungal needs a feedback on that Infestor, doesn't get it. Another massive fungal growth. The Voids on the bottom side going to finally pop their Prismatic, and we are going to have the Super Battery in the back there, at least helping out a little bit. Serral's supply has dipped. Remember, he can't rebuild very easily on the back of this, though, so looking a bit better for Neeb, but there's still spellcasting to be done here as we go back and forth.
this was not the fight for Serral, it felt like. He's getting some damage right now. A lot of these units are extremely low. If he can finish them, that would be huge. But if he can't, he might just be dead right now. Corruptor numbers are extremely low. Brute Lords dealing with these Zealots. Uh-oh. I think this is not looking too good for Serral.
If the Tempests remain alive and it's the Corruptors that are all dead, obviously the Broodlords just die afterwards. We can get rid of all the Spore Crawlers. It is going to be Neeb that can chase this army away. It's Queens as the anti-air right now, and Neeb is going to survive on the tail end of this fight, chasing it down, but just needs to not die to Spore Crawlers, obviously, as the Queens will try and buy some time. Serral does get away for the moment.
This felt super unnecessary. He already took out the bases, attacking into a position with 10 cannons and 4 batteries, where there's 0 minerals and 0 gas. I don't quite get it. If he's the only one still mining, you can spread creep towards the bottom left side, set up there with your spores. I don't think it was necessary to attack into such an entrenched position at all.
But I feel like he's still winning, right? Because he has some Vipers.
Oh my god, that's a huge fungal. Oh my god.
Refreshes it. Parasitic bomb in the center. The Tempests are going to start going down. Neeb types
Oh,
GG.
wow.
Serral keeps himself alive.
Wow.
I like that Neeb was happy and Serral is